Welcome to Pagan Crafting. I'm your host, Kara. Today we get to do some sea divination, some chronomancy, some shell divination, and we're going to do a little bit of a craft and assign meanings to everything today. So what we're going to look at is a form of divination using shells and found objects from the beach. So I'm an avid little collector. I'm a little fairy. I like collecting shiny things and pretty things. So I have everything from glass to metal, a pizza found, to pieces of driftwood, to beautiful little shells. We're gonna go through the different meanings. We're gonna use divination as a method to help predict future behavior, connect between nature and the divine. You may find shells as a form of language even in your divination practice. The seashells are themselves each one have a different meaning, or you could assign meanings to the pieces that you find. There's also some shells that are just for witchcraft, and we will go over those too. So first we're going to go over the different types of readings that you can do. Then we're going to make this beautiful little craft bag. We're going to assign meanings to our sea, ocean, beach findings. And we're going to have an interesting discovery today. Because when this is my first shell divination set. I've been collecting this set for a while now. And I've been more serious about it since December last year. I've been collecting pieces since then. But I used a bunch of pieces from my home island, Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. So I actually, half these pieces are from a collection from 20 odd years ago that I've kept in my little collection. So join me today as we go through some nostalgic memories. We assign these memories and emotions and feelings to our shells. If you want to learn how to read shell divination without memorization, join me today and let us collect some shiny things and some exoskeleton things and make a beautiful way to help predict our future. So without getting into an amazing amount of history with shell divination, cowrie, if you want to look up cowrie divination, that alone I could make a video on, is so cool. But when it comes to utilizing shell divination in your magical practice, I'm very kind of a hands-on, I'm a very intuitive, imaginative. I like to assign emotions, feelings to things. Maybe a memory is what it triggered. Same thing with my tarot cards. I'm going to read my tarot cards possibly a little bit differently because that card may mean this to me, may not mean something else. But in relation to my readings, it'll still work out. Same thing goes for shell divination and sea divination. Now, what you can do is you can use the size, the shape, the smoothness, the roughness, the color. Analyze the color. Don't forget about the color. All these different themes and overall shapes, such as the larger to the smaller to the rounder, well as even just the shell mean itself, you could mean different things. But I like to do it in a way that what I've done here, I've assigned meanings. I've taken the liberty of writing it out. You just got to add your piece, maybe your drawing and where you collected it. We're going to go through that goodie after our craft, so we have an idea how to use everything all together. Now, one way you could read shells is you could use a casting cloth or like a divination board. Now, the casting cloth could be completely blank, and when you let them go onto the table or your cloth, read them in groups. You'll find that they're actually little groups. Maybe one is pointed away from another. Maybe one is jabbing right into this. It is trying to tell you this is in relation to this. So you can read them in order of groups and have them together that way. You can blindly pick a shell from a bag. Let's have a little look here. Now, I got a starfish. So I have to look up starfish. I'm just, literally just before we did this part here, we assigned it. Your ability to renew yourself. Ooh, you are the secret to healing the starfish. It's a gold medal. Now, I may have asked a question before pulling into that bag. I've maybe focused on, or just like, give me a general reading. What do I need to do right now? What do I need to focus on? Just something general that way, then you can pull out a piece that way and read it. You can stumble upon a shell, which is a form of apomancy. I had to read my notes for that one. Whew! Apantomancy. 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 There's all these mancies out there. It's like the audiences, the clairs and voyances and senses, and there's a lot of clairs out there as well. There's a lot of mancies out there. All right, so one way we can do our apomancy is to simply stumble upon a shell and find and do a reading with that shell. Just like maybe the first one you walk out onto the beach, or maybe one is calling you. You can hear them call to you. Look that up when you get home. Look up the meanings of the shells. We're going to go through the shell divination meanings too. I don't personally really use the shell divination meanings, which I totally could, but I prefer assigning meanings to it and go with a little bit of emotional, intuitive memory, color, shape, size kind of thing. Now you can explore your chosen shell anatomy. So you can go by the exact meaning, which I was just talking about. So maybe like oysters are associated with sensuality and attraction. But maybe you might go with maybe a conch shell here, and it's associated with announcements, communications, and messages. So something may be coming up towards you that you may have an announcement in your future. It may be exciting. You may run across a cowrie shell next, and hey, there's some wealth, there's some money. The two together, you have an announcement of maybe a promotion coming. Put it together. Now you can explore your chosen shell correspondences, especially for flashy, iridescent. That was jazz hands. I was almost jazz hands. I can't believe I just did jazz hands. That's okay. But you know what? Explore the correspondences too. I like using aura correspondences, chakra correspondences. You can look up the color meanings for candles. I find the candles and aura color meanings associations really sing to my heart more. They seem to make sense because the feeling of the color. I'm very emotional when it comes to my art, but I'm not a very emotional person, if that makes any sense. Go figure. Now you can hold the shells in your hand and let them fall through your fingers like sand, and read them where they lay, or read what is left in your hand. Now we have a shell divination meanings. Now I have to go through my notes a little bit for this one because I don't use this one, but I just wanted to give you just kind of a lay down of some research that I found. Now the cowrie shell looks kind of like this little dude here. Is associated with feminine energy. The cowrie shell can represent fertility, birth, and new beginnings. And it's also, in many cultures, it's associated with money and wealth because it was used as a currency. So in some parts of the world, I think this one has like African origins as well. Now the conch, this little guy right here, is associated with announcements, communications, and messages. Oh, I don't have my abalone here, but I have this one. Oh, I'm trying not to spill it because I have my smudge in here. Look at the iridescent, so gorgeous. You can get in many little shapes and sizes. The abalone is with cleansing, protection, and emotional balance. Now the murex, I don't have one of those shells, is often associated with defenses, protection, and power. The volutus, I don't know how to pronounce that. Associated with change, transformation, and new beginnings. And the Ugger, I don't know what that one is either, associated with energy flow, foundations, and psychic ability. Remember, I'm from Canada, so I've gotten the shells I can from the oceans that I can. I've been to Mexico and I've been to Australia. So that's really, I've been to Pacific, Indian, Atlantic, and what's down there? That's still the Atlantic. All right. Yeah. I've been in the Caribbean too, but I never got any shells from there. So as I was saying, some of these shells I don't have access to because I'm not from Europe, Africa, different countries around the world that have these unique shells that I don't have. But so far on my list, I've actually done pretty good from what the ones I've had. Now I do have, our next one is clams. It's a little clam shell, associated with beauty, abundance, and with feminine energy, which is kind of cool. I didn't know. I know the pearl doesn't go in one of these, but I just glued it in because it kind of reminded me of Aphrodite. So it's kind of cool how it all went together. Now we have mussels. I have a couple types here. These are also from Vancouver Island. Nice little purple dudes. Sorry, mussels, associated with abundance, masculine energy, and with home life. And scallops I don't have here. They're often seen as a symbol of journey of halves and choice and of our connections. I just said that, but now I have to have that in. Oysters. Now I don't have a small oyster, but here's an oyster shell that I use for my Palo Santo. And the oyster is associated with sexuality, sensuality, and attraction. Now a tusk or tooth shells associated with business, wealth, and prosperity. And we have the Naturalis associated with change, progress, and new horizons. See, it's hard for me to, I'm going through these and I really have to concentrate and remember it. It's just not the way my brain works. But writing down my meanings and stuff, I find I'm going to read, the more I read with a divination set, the more I'm going to remember why, because it's personal to me. No other set's going to be the same, and no other set will have the same meaning. I'm going to provide you with a C divination sheet that'll have all the meanings, but you pick what goes to what, because only you are going to understand it, and it's going to relate to you a little easier. And I think I prefer the C divination method of mine versus a straight up shell divination of reading the exact meaning of the shells. Both you can have written down and see where it lays, and both work out just the same. It's just a personal preference. I think it's kind of cool that way. Now, shells for witchcraft and good luck. Some witches recommend shells to keep close to you when working with manifestations. You may want to check how you're accomplishing your goals, and here are some recommended shells for good luck here. Now, the cowrie shell is for money, wealth, and this is because they were used in currency in some parts of the world. Jingle shells are also good for wealth and prosperity. This is due to them being very shiny as a coin. Now, the snail shell is travel, movement. This is due to be able to move between the realms of the sea and the land, so adaptability as well. Star limpet, it's good for beauty and art. This is due to an individual markings and the uniqueness. So let's rock some creativity with that too. Again, take the shell and see how it makes you feel and what it does for you. Now, I'm going to use my casting cloth, and we're going to do a quick reading here, and we're going to see how it turns out. I'll throw up the link here just above me, and there you'll be able to see how to make this casting cloth. I also will include in the description down below, you have a link to my Etsy store, and there you can print out your own casting cloth divination board. You can just cast right on the paper, or you can make your own casting cloth too. Okay, I'm going to turn down the camera here and let's do a quick reading, and then we're going to get into a craft on how to make this gorgeous little bag and how to assign all the meanings. So this is my leather casting cloth. I made this here just recently for my charm reading and my bone readings that I do, and I cannot be happier. So may I suggest this? And again, if you don't want to make it this small, you know, you can print it off. I have a digital download on my Etsy store, and you can print it off just the size of the paper and cast on that too. Now, let's have some fun. I got all my little bits here. Well, I'm going to go through all my bits that I have. I'm just going to close my eyes here. Anything that goes off the board, you do not read. As you're shaking, some falls out, some falls out. You can just do it that way and just let it fall out. Rub your hands together. That one I'll read. But looks like there was one that went. Okay, I got a bead off the chart. This is off. And this one's off. I don't read. I'll read these ones. Now I do see some little groupings here. Some beside itself. So let's see what we have for physical. Now I have this guy here. It's my green swirly dude. So he is for luck, change in direction, and new opportunities. So am I attracting some more physical opportunities? Or physically, what am I attracting? Now my driftwood goes through guidance, trust, and attracting. It looks like for me it's like the snake and ladders game. It's going upwards here. Oh, if it's a snake, it's going down. So attracting guidance. I need to trust within myself here. And the driftwood itself means emotions adapting, ebb and flow. Because the way this is and how it's smoothed down, I found this on the water's edge in Vancouver Island. This little piece just reminds me of home. So I need to attract some guidance. I need to attract and adapt in my emotions and trust within myself. Something I need to caution and avoid. We have the little fish dude here. He's in lessons and learnings and experiences. Caution and avoid. Avoid experiences. Now I'm feeling that's a little negative actually. Now this one's in the crossroads here. It's a 4 corners. It's like smack dab in the middle. This is a spiky dude. So I actually have that one written down as stress and worries. So I have organize, caution, avoid, guidance, and anticipate. My stresses and worries, yes, I'm not as organized as I usually am. I've been quite chaotic because I've been very artistic recently. So my house is quite exploded right now. I'm anticipating a new month coming up here in August. I have 3 events coming up that are very important to me. I might kickstart a portion of my career, which I'm very excited of. Now we have the starfish here with health and well-being. And the starfish, I just have to look up on my sheet, represents my ability to renew myself. It's a secret to healing. That's really cool. And the secret to healing and well-being. Now that could be mental health. And it could be physical health as well. So key to renewal. I like that. It's very, very good. This dude's actually on here too. And he's for abundance, growth, and maturation. Anything to do with growth. Kind of a change feeling there. My subconscious feeling. I have some of my light bluest glass here. Now my 3 pieces of glass. The light blue green one is for outside forces, influences on my subconscious. Ooh. My other glass is blue one is for the subconscious influences from my ancestor. And the green is for a conscious influence towards my success and love and romance. Now I'm not going to read them all here because we got a gist of it coming on here, but I'm just going to read my last one, the conch shell, one of my favorite ones here. Now the conch here is a spiritual influence. So my spiritual influence and opportunity love and romance. Ooh, well, I'm single right now. I'm hoping for maybe a spiritual dude to come my way. This is an opportunity. And this is near, it's also reading into, I have my cowrie over here too, and that's wealth and success, and my love and romance. Maybe we'll be a power couple, man. Maybe we'll be a power partnership. Maybe there's something we'll be inspiring each other with, because this green is for direction, new opportunities, luck, and change when dealing with green color, but with the green glass, it's a conscious influence. So it's something that I'm going to be making a conscious effort in, not an outside influence, as conscious or subconscious. Sorry, I meant to say subconscious influence. Great. Well, I'm feeling really good. I'm really, really excited what's to come here, and I've really enjoyed this. So let's get on to how we made this beautiful little bag, and we're going to get on how I put together all my sheets with my meanings, and we'll have a place for you to add your own, as well as a blank sheet to add whatever you'd like without having to deal with the meanings that I've written down either. So join me in just a moment, and let's go make some crafts now. So after you've finished your seed divination decorating for your bag, we're going to look at the seed items, item description, meaning, and where and when you collected it. I've taken the liberty of writing down a few different meanings for you. Now what you can do is you can assign what you want to these meanings. In no way I've left it way that I will tell you what to do with this one. This one goes by instinct, emotion, colors, feeling, the spikes, the smoothness. I've also left a blank page at the back where you could add your own meanings and print it out as many times as you want. You'll be able to get these PDF downloads from my Patreon, as well as a PDF download from my Etsy store. Both are in the description down below for you. Starting off with the white clamshell and pearl. Now I glued the pearl to this clamshell because for me it reminds me of love and Aphrodite and transformation. So I assigned the meaning transformation, rebirth, and change. Now this is quite like the death card in tarot. Basically it means something needs to end before a change can happen. And in the C item, I've left you a space with plenty of room to draw the shell or the C item that you have found. Whether it be glass or a piece of metal or a charm that you would like to use. And then I like to put in remembrance where I got this from. Now this one was from Vancouver Island in 1998. 2005, but I reckon I collect most of them from Kai Bay, so that would be 1998, 1999. So looking at our next one is the cowrie shell. Now the cowrie is for wealth and money. It was once used as currency, so I'm going to use this for career, finances, wealth, and work relationships. And I don't recall where I found this shell, so I will leave that part blank. Now sometimes if I don't know the shell, it's nice to be able to draw it, and I will literally write green swirly shell. That's right, that's how I'm going to remember it. Because it's green, I'm going to use it for luck, change, direction, and new opportunities. Now going through my shells, let's see what else I can find. I have the ring here with the wave on it. And now the ring is going to be representing all forms of relationships. Now I bought this, I think it was my toe ring actually. I wore it a lot as a little hippie on Vancouver Island. I'm still a little closet bohemian hippie. That's okay. Driftwood from Vancouver Island, found on the Pacific Ocean shore. This is going to represent emotions adapting the ebb and flow, because it once was strong, full of bark and spiky and rawness and roughness, and now it is smooth and brilliant. Gonna rock some charms here. Now these ones were from a cruise ship from my mom and my stepdad. They came with their little 14 karat gold charms. They got them in little events that they had to do throughout the cruise. So I thought it'd be cool to use some of these. Starting off with the crab here, the little gold medal. It's for obviously going to represent protection, home, and security. Now the starfish, I had to look up the animal totem meaning for this one. And this represents your ability to renew yourself, your secret to healing. So I thought that was super cool. Now the seahorse, divine masculine in its own glory, resources to overcome adversities. Pay attention to your emotions and needs if you are feeling lost. Now that too, I had to look up the animal totem spirit guide meaning for that one. So I thought that was pretty brilliant in its own. Not what I expected, actually. I thought it'd be more to do with transformation, possibly. Now I have 3 pieces of sea glass. Now what I could use for these ones, I could use subconscious, conscious, and outside forces influence, or I could use past influence, present influence, and future influence. I kind of want to group these ones together. I will add, hopefully I'll find a clear glass someday on the beach, hopefully not in my foot, and I will be able to add a really cool meaning with that one. But you know, this one's kind of a light bluish green that I'm going to use here. So starting off with the blue glass, I've chosen that's going to represent the subconscious influence in the reading or the question. Sometimes you'll start off the reading with a question and it'll be able to elaborate on, just like tarot cards. It's really cool divination. The light blue green glass will represent the outside forces and influence. And the green glass will represent the conscious influence. So it's nice to not only have the drawing of the sea item that you've chosen, but also the item description. After a time that you have used your divination set more and more, you won't have to refer back to your sea divination chart and meanings. It'll become natural. Some things will evolve, some things will start to mean different things. But use your intuition, use your emotions, use your memories, use color coordination and correspondences to help you rock your different meanings for your shells and for your sea bits that you found. Now this teardrop pearl is really beautiful. I'm going to use this one for the Atlantean and or ancestral influence in the reading. Heck yeah, we're going for water, miles of rock in the Atlanteans. Now this black mussel shell will represent fears and shadow work. This shell also comes from Vancouver Island. This one I'm quite not sure what to do with yet, so we'll just leave that. I'll find a home for it. This wee fish, I think what I'm going to do with this one, because some fish have to keep learning their little lessons. Sometimes their memory's a little shorter. So let's look at lessons, learning, and experiences to represent the gold metal fish. Now this one, I have 2 of them that are similar. So this spiral shell, I'm going to write down, it's got white, pink, and light purple on it. For me, it's kind of spiritual. It represents the energy that needs to be released. Ooh, let's bring in another grouping of pearls here now. The largest pearl I'll use for the past influence. The pearl button I'll use for a present influence. And the smallest pearl I'll use for the future influence in a question. Now this one here has the spiral dude, has got lots of oranges and browns to it. So it's kind of a pyramid shape. So crossroads, a decision needs to be made. This conch shell, it's also from Vancouver Island, where most of my shells are from the Pacific Ocean. It's a spiritual influence because I was going through some awakening and spiritual and amazing times during my time in my life there. This white shell with brown markings is going to be abundance, growth, and maturation. This little spiky dude is going to be stress and worries because it's got a lot of harsh spikes on it. This is a similar shell, but it's got softer spikes, so I'll use it for health and physical and mental health. This spiral pointed shell will be dreams, goals, ideas, inspirations, and thoughts. Now with the extra 4 shells, I haven't found a home yet. Let's do little drawings here. Following my intuition, I feel the metal clam is what you're not expressing but want or need to. The stripy shell, brown and white, is a path in the direction. And look what is near that shell in relation to the question.
The purple mussel shell is Creative Outlets Project Something New to Create, and this spiral dude is going to be representing a new beginning.
Well, thank you so very much for chilling out with me today. Throw me down in the comments for the community the type of shell divination or ocean divination that you like to do. Maybe it's straight up the meanings of the shells, or do you assign your own meanings? Do you use metal, glass, things, ocean glass? Maybe you're not by an ocean. Maybe you have to use a lake or river rocks. Tell me what you like to use. Do you even collect shells? I don't care, from the dollar store. Bring it in, find the meanings, assign the meanings. I would love to find out what you do, because this is so new for me. So please tell me in the comments what you do with your shell divination. I would love to know, and so would my community. Take care, and throw me down a little like and subscribe and ring that bell, and have yourself an absolutely magical day.